Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special presentation of a channeling by cosmic awareness regarding the controversy that is out there in the alternative community between the groups that support Corey Goode and associates versus such as Bill Ryan and Daniel Lizt and others who are opposing the claims made by Corey Goode and his followers. Now, I want to emphasize right now that this is a channeling of cosmic awareness on certain questions we have collected to present to cosmic awareness, and is thus only a viewpoint, and actually it isn't even necessarily our viewpoint, but it certainly guides us in being neutral observers of the events that are taking place and coming to our own conclusions. And of course, by our own conclusions, I am referring to myself and my beloved wife, Callista, who is off camera today and will be presenting the questions to Cosmic Awareness. So, having said that, I want to greet Callista and say hello, love.
Thanks, Will. Yes, hello, and hello, everybody. Yes, I'm off camera so that I can ask some questions that we've put together in the hope that it will help to assist people to make up their minds about what is really going on here. There seems to be a lot of confusion out there at the moment, and people are wanting to know what is really going on. So I'm hoping that the questions that we've got together here to present to awareness will be of some assistance.
Absolutely.
So whenever you're ready, we'll go into it.
Okay then, love, here I go. I'm going inwards to make my connections with Cosmic Awareness. Give me a moment, and we'll talk on the other side. That which is Cosmic Awareness is indeed now available and is certainly interested in discussing the controversy that has erupted in the alternate community over the last several weeks. This controversy between such as Corey Goode and his associates versus those who are opposed to Corey Goode and his associates. Therefore, this awareness will move forward directly into the questions at this time.
Thank you, Awareness. I'm going to ask you a few questions today, and I'm just asking if you can present some really short answers. We've got about 12 questions to go through, and I'm aware that people are just wanting short, sharp answers to try and clarify the situation for themselves. So thank you very much for being with us today. The first question I have is this. Are people such as Bill Ryan and Daniel Lizt deceivers with a hidden agenda against Corey Goode and those associated with him?
That this awareness says outright, these ones, such as Bill Ryan and Daniel Lizt and others, are not deceivers, but rather truly ones who are smelling a dying or dead rat in that which is being presented through Corey Goode and his group, and have felt a need to speak up against perceived lies and dishonesty. That this awareness can say that these two in particular, Daniel Lizt and Bill Ryan, are men of great integrity and impeccability. Their agenda is not a personal one, but rather to expose certain flaws in information that have been presented as truths, and to also point out incongruities that are as well contained in the information released, but also to show those who are interested that perhaps this is not what it seems to be, and that all should be asking questions about that which is being presented through Corey Goode and his followers and through his associates.
Thank you. My second question is Corey Goode and those associated with him presenting the truth?
This, of course, is a difficult question to answer in some ways, because the truth is always relative to those holding a truth or a set of truths. And to those who hold that truth, that they will not see it as deception or lies if they are truly innocent and sincere. But there are others who are not innocent and sincere, who know exactly what is going on, and that there is deliberate manipulation and control in this matter, specifically to Corey Goode, that this awareness states that this individual is compromised. And while it may be that he thinks he is presenting the truth, it is through this compromisation or the comprising of this individual that the situation has arisen, that he is being used by certain ones to present an agenda for mass consumption in the alternative community. Therefore, if this awareness were to state directly whether he is speaking the truth or not, in a grander scale of things, this awareness declares that he is not speaking the truth, yet he does think he is. And there are many of his followers who believe him to be an honest man and man of integrity and impeccability. And in this belief, they too are spreading the lies and deceits that are being fed to him through his organization and those who truly control the organization.
Thank you. So are the blue avians and the sphere being alliance real?
This awareness will be direct. They are not real. They are a fabrication that has been put out there as real. It is to be remembered that when individuals hold something to be true and hold that energy so strongly that they put their own personal energies into the issue and into the matter, a certain validity occurs around these ones. And thus, even though this awareness says this is a lie, this is a deceit, this has been manufactured, to the many who hold that it is the truth, there is a truth or reality that is connected to these ones. However, this awareness does declare, again, that it is a deceit and manufactured with reason.
Thank you. So who is behind Corey Goode and those associated with him?
This is the part that is very difficult for many to understand, that there could be a group or an association or a hidden hierarchy behind Corey Goode, the individual, and those who are his followers, those who support him, who hold his truth to be the truth of the matter. That this group is the same group that has manipulated and controlled society for thousands upon thousands of years. They are the same ones behind the governments of the world, behind the economic situations, behind religions, behind social issues and matters. And this is that which this awareness would call the archonic conspiracy that emanates eventually from the top, which are those known as the archons, downwards through different levels and layers, through those who are their extraterrestrial servants, such as the Orions and the reptilians, through that which is known as AI, artificial intelligence, and the quantum computers that are now in use, through the families, the leading families, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Windsors, and then also through many secret organizations and not so secret organizations, such as the Freemasons, the Jesuits, the Zionists. There are many spokes to this wheel, but ultimately these layers and levels are also here involved and thus behind the Corey Goode camp. This has become more evident recently when you watch the presentations of Corey Goode and see how slick they have become, how manufactured by ones who have such skills and talents to present images that are very alluring and attractive. That when Corey Goode began, when he first came out, he was not able to present himself the same way that he is now being presented. He is groomed and guided into the presentation of his image and into the information he is providing. Some of it is original to that which he put out on Avalon several years ago, but there is new information that is often based on information already given by others, but now taken on board as that which Corey Goode has delivered and presented as if it is new information. Therefore, this awareness does say that the agencies behind him, the levels and layers of power and control behind him, are the same that is behind the rest of the planet and those who are in charge, the elites, the cabal, the Illuminati, the archons, and their minions.
Thank you. My next question was going to be, is artificial intelligence and mind control involved?
It is indeed involved here. There are different levels and layers of this, and this awareness says that the one known as Corey Goode is my lab controlled. And as it said, this awareness said a moment ago, is being groomed to fulfill his role. But there is another level of control that is happening to those who have bought into the presentations of Corey Goode, that which he has been presenting as truth about the secret space program, for example, or the blue avians and other things he is presenting. And that is that there are many who are seekers of the truth, who have a sense and feeling that there is much more out there than has been revealed by the governments, the corporations, the ones in positions of power and trust. And that these ones are genuine in their search for the truth. And these ones have at the same time some inner knowing of truth beyond that which is programmed truth that has been put into the human psyche, into individuals. These have been the targets of the ones in power behind Corey Goode and associates, because these are the ones that are the biggest threat to the plans of continual control and manipulation of humanity. In this case, those who are seekers, those who are aware of something much deeper and are seeking to find this, are being herded together, if you will, into an arena where they can then be mind controlled. This is not obvious mind control. This awareness must emphasize this. It is subtle and it is powerful, for it is based upon the individual's true desire to find out the truth. And that when they encountered the truth presented by Corey Goode, many were enchanted, many were intrigued, many have bought into that which Corey Goode and crew have presented as the truth. Once an investment of this nature is made, where one holds one to be the leader or the Messiah or the one who is presenting information, or in this case, the group, for it is not truly just about Corey Goode, but rather the group that has formed around him and the associates that he has called in, that are all part of this bigger picture. But when one has invested certain energies, and this is of an ego nature, then it is hard to let go. For due to the dualistic way of thinking of such things, sides are drawn. And if one comes down on one side, then those who are on the opposite side are the enemy. That this awareness simply says here that this is a type of mind control based on the dualistic nature of this reality, and how the way forward is to exceed that dualistic choice, to come from the place of the observer and to not be drawn into the matter directly. But this awareness will answer this further in another question.
Thank you. So why have people like Michael Salla and Jordan Sather been brought into supporting Corey Goode?
It is actually quite simple. They add a degree of credibility. Michael Salla, for example, is well respected in the research community. And his previous books and his previous video casts, etc., and interviews, etc., are very respected, both in the community and by those who are seekers of the truth. To add him to the camp certainly gives prestige to the organization. As for Jordan Sather, he is a young millennial. He recently has come into a high degree of prominence and has fostered around him a sizable group of millennials who are here seeking the truth themselves. Bringing him into the camp, as well as a few other young millennials, is actually aimed at bringing the younger ones on board and persuading them that this is the truth of the situation. They already know, these younger ones, that something is afoot, that something is happening out there that they do not agree with and want the information and want the insight. That Jordan Sather was one who was providing this, and it is to the best interest of the Goode camp to draw him on board as one of their representatives. That is why they have been brought on board.
Thank you. What do people such as Bill Ryan and Daniel Lizt seek to gain by outing Corey Goode and those associated with him?
Specific to these two individuals, who this awareness has has already said are men of impeccability and integrity, that they have nothing personal to gain. This is not a campaign against Corey Goode for them, but it is a campaign against those who would manipulate the minds and the lives of ones who become followers of Corey Goode. It is a campaign against those behind the scenes who are trying to divide and conquer that group of individuals who are attracted to the alternative community. Theirs is a sense, and many others who are speaking out have a similar sense of outrage that such an action is taking place, that such ones could be given credibility when they are not credible, when they are actually found out engaged in lies and deceit, when they use individuals that have dubious backgrounds and can be shown, and that this can be shown, and that is what they are doing, showing this, sharing this with the public. Therefore, this awareness states they have nothing personal to gain. They are not doing it for their own egos to be stroked and their own fame to be increased. They are doing it because it is a genuine concern on their part that something is rotten in Denmark and that it must be brought to the surface, especially with one like Bill Ryan, who has a personal history with Corey Goode, who knows the man from several years ago before he ever became as popular as he now is, and knows what happened in those 2.5 years approximately since Bill Ryan and Project Avalon hosted the original interview or discussion with Corey Goode. He has seen the writing on the wall right from the beginning, and he has refrained from saying anything over the last 2 years. But the situation has come to such a point that recently he felt he must clarify matters for his own group, Project Avalon, the forum of Project Avalon, and that this was then picked up by Daniel Lizt and others. And it was after this occurred that the famous interview between Daniel and Bill took place, and everything indeed took off from there.
Thank you. So who is behind Bill Ryan and Daniel Lizt?
There is no one behind him in a way similar to that which this awareness has described is behind Corey Goode and his group. But that this awareness says that what is really behind Bill Ryan, Daniel Lizt, and others who are speaking out is the energy of divine spirit. That which is this awareness, that which is universal mind, infinite awareness, that which is the highest energies in consciousness, in awareness, that understand the bigger picture, and that are now energetically starting to strongly infiltrate upon this planet, bringing with this infiltration the energies of the highest mind, of divine consciousness itself. That those who are speaking these truths are being gently guided along by those levels and layers in consciousness that are behind them. For this is the force that is behind them. There is no organization, there is no handler behind either of these two and others who are speaking out. But there is that higher energy, or that expansive energy, that total energy of consciousness that could be called divine source or divine spirit, universal mind, or whatever other name, great spirit, whatever other name one might wish to use in this matter. It would also be said quickly that it is that same force that is making itself known upon the planet at this time on all fronts, including the political front, as well as the religious front, the economic front, the social front, that the force of divine source is becoming more active and activated each and every day. And this is the force that is behind such as Bill Ryan or Daniel Lizt.
Thank you. So, which side is right?
Neither are right. Neither are wrong. What must be understood is that this is truly a dualistic way, an old way, the old way of seeing things. By dualistic, this awareness emphasizes that this would mean that reality itself is perceived as right or wrong, black or white, good or bad. In this matter, there are two sides, there are two camps, both of whom hold positions. They have different reasons for holding the positions they hold, but nonetheless, both hold a position of the truth as they see it and as they feel it. The motivations behind one group are suspect, as this awareness has outlined, while the motivation around the other group is from a different level or layer, a different source. But nonetheless, it is an oppositional view to that which is held by the Corey Goode camp. If one can eliminate the need to be right or wrong here, if one could hold that both are holding positions and are being true to what they hold to be so, then one might see that it truly is not about proclaiming one side right and the other wrong. But there is paradox here at the same time. The paradox the paradox is that there is a deception going on, and that deception has behind it the reason and purpose of deflecting many who might be a threat to a certain group of people, and that this certain group would control and manipulate the ones they can for their own good and their own benefit, but that there are others who oppose this. While this awareness is declared that neither is right or wrong, if one understands there are agendas for both sides and purpose for both sides, and if one were to retain sacred neutrality, if one were to stay out of being drawn into the camp, that one might come to a place of realization for oneself as to what is the truth for oneself. Here again is paradox. For to simply remain neutral and take no stance ultimately and speak no truth ultimately means that you will be one of the good men or women standing on the side, not participating in a very important event. This may be right for you. This awareness makes no judgment here, makes no proclamation here of what must be done. It is simply stating that you must rise above the dualistic way of looking at this, so that you come from a third point of view, where in sacred neutrality one can attain a unity consciousness that allows one to measure up what is happening. And then, upon doing this for oneself, to take action if it is felt that is needed. It may not be felt by many that action is needed. Others may feel it is imperative to speak out against what is happening, what is being controlled and manipulated by those with vested interests. And it may be so that one comes from that group, perceiving the other side as the ones with vested interest. It is very confusing in a manner of speaking, but crystal clear when one simply retains that point of neutrality, that which this awareness calls sacred neutrality, observes what is coming down, what is playing out, is open to the discovery of the truth, is open to see when presented certain incongruities that are being presented. But ultimately, it is the responsibility of each and every individual to decide for him or herself as to what the truth is for you. And therefore, this awareness, even though it has made strong statements, is not choosing sides. It is simply speaking the truth of the situation. And it is up to each individual to now decide what is their truth, what they support, what actions they might take, or whether or not they would wish simply to stay neutral about the matter.
Well, thank you, Awareness. I had a couple of more questions to ask, but you've actually answered those questions in that answer. I was going to ask, who do I trust and what is the right response to this controversy that's brewing? But you've already answered that, thank you. My last question is, what is the bigger picture here?
The bigger picture is that picture which has been playing itself out for several hundred years already, even thousands of years, which is the ultimate control and enslavement of humanity. That this is not a new agenda and has been spoken of by many, including this awareness on many occasions. To see this is indeed a much bigger issue, and while it could be reduced down to the level of personalities, which is what is happening, it is not about the person so much as those who are behind those persons, those forces, those energies that may be involved here. This awareness spoke of the archonic conspiracy, or that which is the hidden conspiracy that has been controlling and manipulating for those thousands of years spoken about. That this is a very critical and crucial time right now and for the next several years, and in particular the next 2.5 years. And that those who have held power for so long, hidden and in shadow, are not used to being exposed so. That they have practiced this form of divide and conquer many, many, many times before, of infiltrating a group that started out with a high moral purpose and agenda, and corrupting those organizations, making them into something else entirely different, and that this is another example of divide and conquer. Of to take a truth that many are seeking and many feel, and attracting those to that truth, and then twisting that truth, deflecting that truth ever so little, so that those who have been hooked cannot even see or feel they have been hooked into something that is no longer exactly the truth of the matter. And that when others come forward and say, look, the emperor is wearing no clothes, that they stand up and boo the person who has declared such a horrible thing. That when the declaration is made that Corey Goode is not who he says he is, that many are standing up and attacking those who have spoken this, who have pointed this out, because they do not want to look at the truth, that they have been hooked in, and they are being deflected. Even as this awareness says this, many who have been hooked in will reject this awareness, will reject all that this awareness has spoken today, and will perhaps attack this awareness, or Will, or Callista, or others, for speaking such lies against their hero. This awareness has no concern over this, for it is simply speaking the truth, but is not taking sides. From the advantage point of this awareness, you are all the children of Divine Source. You are all the children of this awareness. And it understands and it knows that you will find the way home. And that this ultimately, this whole conflict, this whole controversy is but a big game in consciousness that is being taken ever so seriously. Therefore, this awareness says that it would be perhaps a good thing to laugh a little at yourselves and to laugh a little at this controversy while holding your ground, while staying in the center of the labyrinth of the maze, of calling in those highest levels of the spiritual consciousness that you are part of, so that you will be guided to the deeper level of understanding and awareness that would allow you to take your stand, not in anger or hatred against the opponent, but rather in recognition that this is your truth, that which you hold, and the experiences that you have are your experiences, be they as a follower of Corey Goode and crew, or someone who stands up and says the emperor is wearing no clothing. This is a personal journey. This is really and truly the most important matter of all. It is a personal journey towards enlightenment, freedom, and ascension to higher consciousness. That this awareness will be available to answer further questions in the future. But at this time, this awareness is complete. This awareness sends its light, its unconditional love, and its blessings to one and all. It is done, it is over, it is so.
Thank you very much, Awareness. I'll ask Will to come back. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm back. Oh, I'm at an angle.
Yes, you moved around while you were channeling. Never mind, that's okay.
Well, yeah, I felt the movement, but I didn't realize I wasn't facing the camera anymore. Anyway, you guys got a good profile.
Okay, well, thanks very much for that. I think we might leave it at that and not make any comment on it, because we have our own personal points of view, as everyone does. But thank you so much for being available, and I just hope that this little video will be able to help people make decisions and come to a better understanding of what's going on.
That's right.
So yeah, we'll close it now and see how things proceed.
Yeah, proceed. And I would end also by saying, remember, folks, don't be caught in the dualistic nature of this whole thing. Rise above it. Try to see it from that higher perspective or that deeper perspective, whatever one wants to say here, and stay in neutrality. But when it comes to you that this is what I trust and believe, that's when you might actually stand up and say, this is my truth. Not trying to impose it on anyone else necessarily, but certainly just standing up, as awareness said, and expressing, this is my truth. And the truth shall set you free.